With its fixation on property destruction over police violence and the repeated use of the words thugs and criminals and vandals to describe rioters, a huge disconnect with grassroots communities has become visible. Joining me in studio to discuss this and other issues is one of our daily news analysts who just happens to be in town. Chenjerai Kumanyika is a communications professor at Clemson University in South Carolina. Welcome live in studio this morning, Chenjerai.
Yes, nice to be here. Great to be here.
It's so wonderful to have you in person here. First, what do you make of this exchange between Wolf Blitzer and DeRay McKesson? Wolf Blitzer just repeatedly tried to get him to agree with him, which is just bizarre. I've never seen a journalist do that to somebody before. He says, I just want to hear you say that there should be peaceful protests in the tradition of Martin Luther King.
He was so persistent with that, right? I mean, it was
And patronizing.
just patronizing. No, I mean, I was watching this coverage as it happened, and CNN, they really have a history of this kind of coverage, but this was particularly egregious in the case of Baltimore. I mean, just patronizing, repeating these media frames. So, there's a great article by Scott Timberg at Salon where we have media scholar Todd Gitlin. And he talks about his media frames and the way that these frames go back all the way for decades. The frames of thugs, framing stories about protests as actually being kind of like crime stories. And so I think we have to look at these stories, which seem to be individual cases, and see how they pretty much fall into this typical media frame where we just equate protesters with thugs and things like this.